Hi, everybody. It's with great pleasure that I'm here today with, I should say, my friend, guide, philosopher, my guru to an extent, Mrs. Esther David. I have known her since I was a child, and she has been my mentor, my first art history teacher, and I would say the one who got me interested so much in art that I ended up becoming an art historian. And our relationship continues over the years, and we talk about all kinds of things. But today we're going to talk about her. Yeah, she's come on many, many platforms, but I think the questions we're going to talk about today have not actually been done before. So, very few people know that she actually trained as a sculptor. And today we're going to talk about her journey as a sculptor, and from a sculptor to becoming a writer, and what are the commonalities between these two creative forms that has her tickled.
Now, I will give another angle to this whole thing. There was no inclination, nor was I interested in sculpture. I knew it was a subject which was being taught at Baroda Faculty of Fine Arts, because from Ahmedabad I went to Baroda to study art. Basically, my whole idea was to study painting. I wanted to be a painter, that's all. But somehow the system of sort of allotting students to what the head of the department thinks, I did not get admission to painting. There were all sorts of suggestions. I was very young, I was 15 and a half, I would say. And
Around the time I came
yes.
to study with you.
Yes, and coming from a very what you call a strict minority community family, although they were very sort of into everything, and my father had made the zoo in Ahmedabad, my mother was a school teacher, everything, my uncle, everybody was highly educated. But I realized it was rather a man's world, and but suddenly I found myself in Baroda, wanting to, because I think I was not good at anything. Everybody assumed I was only good at art, and that's a misconception. Everybody thinks that if you are not good at this, so they don't give you enough time, and nobody takes time to know as to what exactly you want to do in life. So there I was.
So
in
career
art,
counseling is something that came much later
much
to our
later.
country.
Yes.
And it's still in its baby
Yeah.
shoes.
And because a child doodles and doodles, you think good enough for art. So you find yourself there in a rather jungle of art, and there you are. And I'm not given. And here I had ideas of becoming like Amrita Shergill, like, and things like that. And no. And it was a very. We are talking of gurus, so it's important to mention
Yeah.
that there was one. But before that, I will tell you that as a child, we had a family library in the house in the old city at Delhi Darwaza, Delhi Gate, where our ancestral house was there. We had a big library where I read a lot of Tagore. So I was a big Tagore fan, that's all. And while I was being sort of literally denied whatever I wanted to do, I stood behind the door and started crying as all my dreams shattered. And there walks in one man who had just arrived from Shantiniketan, who was a professor, head of department of sculpture, and he was looking for a match for his cigarette, looking for a sort of smoke. And he was asking around, and suddenly his was a little bird like a man, and very sharp, and looked funny in his own way, looked also eccentric, which he turned out to be. And he turned out and he saw me standing behind the door and crying. So in his typical Bengali Hindi, he said, "Why is this girl crying?" So they said that she's been. They looked at all her work and they said that cannot get admission to painting. So then he looked at me and he said, "You want to become an artist?" So I didn't know what to say. I said, yes, I mean, artist, chalo. So, chalo, I'll make you an artist. So he literally held me by my hand and he took me to the sculptures department and made me sit there. Got very, I mean, he used to have service tea, which was very this thing in those days, and he started talking to me. So that's the beginning. His name was Sankho Chaudhary. He was Rabindranath Tagore's student. He was Ram Kinkar Banerjee's student, and that like fascinated me. That much I knew. So I said, okay, it's okay. I mean, I literally, that was my first moment of compromise. But I compromised. I could have just said, no, I'm packing my bags and going back to Ahmedabad. But I compromised because he was amazing. What he was saying and what he was talking was amazing. And he had all sorts of stories about becoming an artist. And he said, you don't have to do the full syllabus. But I said, I will not be able to do sculpture because I tried once. I couldn't even put like two walls of sculpture together and make something out of it. So I said, I don't think so. So he says, you leave it to me. What we will do is you don't go according to the syllabus. Every day you make 100 drawings. 50 must be from the zoo, Kamati Bagh, 50 at home in your hostel room. And the second thing, you have to spend 3 hours in the library and read and look at all the visuals. And then if there's a good film on Satyajit Ray, you have to go and see it. So I said, great. No, no syllabus, no nothing, I'm ready to do that. So that's how I went into the sculpture department. And he was like guru, and he had stories because he had traveled all over Europe. He had met Giacometti, he had met Henry Moore, everything. And it was more like sitting and talking. Now, till then, I didn't know how to light a kerosene stove. And one day he said, Esther, make tea, service tea. And I crashed. I said, in my life, I never, I mean, we were not allowed to go in the kitchen, so I didn't know how to make tea. And I didn't know how to light a kerosene stove. So he taught me. Now, I think this is education.
True.
So he taught me, and I made tea. I arranged it in a tray and brought it in. And I think that these are little things that you learn.
Yeah.
And then he, of course, he did make me do the syllabus, of course. But he, I mean, I was very good at drawing, he said. I was good at history. And I had a good sense of composition,
Yes.
of sculptural form. And he taught me how to put the clay together.
But you also worked in wood.
That was later.
Yeah.
I mean, after you get a hang of the whole
Clay thing.
sculptural
The
technique.
three-dimensionality of things.
Of everything. Yeah. And that helps because now whenever I look at anything, like, and that means it also appears in my drawings. If you look at my drawings, they have a very three-dimensional quality. So the three-dimensional came into my life, and I said that, and I had to take what you call a specialization. So I didn't like bronze. You know, a sculpture, bronze and marble, they overpower you.
Yeah.
Like wood does not overpower you.
Yeah.
So I decided to work in wood. And why I decided to work in wood was because it has a grain. And the more you polish it, the grain appears and it gives a form of its own. So I became a sculptor eventually.
Of all the works you've done, or what would be the first one that you remember that you were very proud of saying, this is my work?
The first one? Yeah, okay. So, I was very good at portraits basically, but the one that gave me a sort of a, like the best student of the university at that time was the sculpture because of my father and the family, we used to go a lot to the circus and there used to be these rubber girls. So, I did a huge form, half circle of a rubber girl, and that was much appreciated, and I still like the sense of rhythm, form, line, and I think that's one I remember.
And who owns it?
I don't know, it's gone, finished.
So you have no idea where it...
No, I have a photograph.
Okay, you have a photograph, great. So your life has been up to then completely visual.
Yes, but the one
Yeah.
thing that you are talking to me about is that another sculpture that you know, it needs a lot of strength for a woman,
Yeah.
for chisels and mallets and lifting and putting and all that. So I learnt all that. It was only a matter of skill, which a guru is supposed to teach
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
And I learned. So there was one sculpture I did of a face in wood, and it so happened that the grains came in on the face as though the face was smiling. And I was holding an exhibition at Taj Art Gallery, and a whole family of buyers, they came into the Taj Art Gallery and they all stood there, just transfixed. It was my favorite first wood
Work.
carving, so I remember it very well. And it was actually their young daughter
Okay.
of 16 or something, and she said, I like this only. And then they decided, okay, we have this space in the house where we'll put it, and they took it. So that is a good memory. And even now, after many years, I met them again,
Uh-huh.
and they said, would you like to come home and see it's still there? And then they
How
sent me a
nice.
picture.
Yeah. That's like having family
Yes, through art.
through art, yes. The connectivity that it brings. The forms that you created, and like you spoke about the texture and the grain, etc. How did you convert that into words?
Yeah. Basically, one thing that I was taught is the line of the sculpture. That's a word that stuck in my brain. Everything has a line, everything is an outline, everything has a form. So, what happened that, let me tell you, the line of the sculpture I understand very well, everything, but how I went into literature, I will tell you that actually there was a stage that I came that in Ahmedabad there was no market for my sculptures. It was very difficult. There were no galleries, there were no patrons. A sort of, it was very, very hard. So you had to pack everything in big crates and take it by train to Bombay, where you had to pay octroi on both sides. And then you took it to Taj or Jahangir Art Gallery. After that, the buyer would tell you, okay, say Air India bought one of my sculptures, and they said, okay, after you reach it on the 22nd floor of our building, we'll give you the check. It was like, now how am I going to do this, you know? So I had a friend along, and we went, and the lift was going so fast that once it opened, one person got out. So we also got out. Then we said, no, but this is not the floor. So we went back again, and after that we got the check. I mean, I got the check, and that was it. But when I came down, I decided I'm not going back to sculpture.
But there mustn't have been so many women who were sculpting at that
The
time.
second thing that I also took to sculpture, that one thing again the guru taught me, you don't use the word sculptress.
You remain a sculptor.
You remain a sculptor. The second thing, all my forms are based on women, because I believe that I realized one thing, it was a lot of a man's world, so I wanted to work on themes which were based on women's lives and women and everything. So my work was basically, but when I came down, I realized that as a woman now, I was through. I would continue drawing, maybe I would teach, which I took to later. But I think that, and then sometimes you don't sell at all. So if you have to bring up your family, your children, it was not so easy. So I took to teaching, and that is the turning point.
Okay. And then what made you start writing?
Okay, but I continued. While teaching, you sculpt.
Yeah.
While teaching, you draw. So let's go back a little. If you remember, I spent 6 years in the library at the Faculty of Fine Arts, where my professors all thought I wrote fairly good papers. And I decided that one day that why not write for a newspaper? So I went to a news. I have this tendency. I'm a bit, I would not bit. I'm a risk taker. So I didn't know
I
what
think
I was.
most creative people are.
Yeah.
If you're not a risk taker, then you're not creative enough.
Yeah. One thing was very sure. My father said you have to make your own career. So there was not going to be any nepotism in our family, you see. So I found out the office of the newspaper. I walked in, I took an appointment, I sat outside and I met said, I want to write about art. At that time, they didn't have anybody to write about art.
Correct.
You see. So they said, okay, have you ever written before? I said, I mean, of course, I have written
Assignments.
Little things about art and some catalogs I may have written, things like that. But nothing more than that. So, okay, we'll give you one try. Now, this happened in 1980
Okay.
till now. And that's, no, I mean, I stopped at one point writing for newspapers, but it lasted
Quite a long
I
time.
think 1980 to say 2000. I mean, now I do write a little, but less. 2016, 2015. No, 2015.
15, yeah. Okay.
I had a food column also.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that
I
one.
had a food column. I had an Ahmedabad column and an art column.
So I remember writing a special supplement with you on
we
art.
did one on Ahmedabad
On Ahmedabad and also on Surat.
and Surat.
Yeah.
That's after that Ahmedabad got the heritage tag.
Do you think that your artistic training helped in your becoming a writer?
Tagore.
Yeah.
Tagore
So
was
more
a
than anything, you
artist,
should say
poet,
it would be reading.
I have been an avid reader from a very young age.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the back of my mind, I did think I would have liked to be a writer. I was also a big R.K. Narayan fan. And I used to like the way his brother, used to do the drawing, which I also do, and write. So I thought, one day I'm going to write a novel. But I'll tell you this, writing for a newspaper or a column, it sort of, it gives you some sort of a high, and you say that, okay, it's good, and everybody starts recognizing you, and they say, and it is quite a...
the generation today will not understand that you had a following from writing a column.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like having an Insta page.
Yes.
And people following you.
An open one.
Yeah. So
just now I'm not able to do
shorter stuff.
Online anything.
Yeah.
I can only think of a newspaper. I cannot think, I don't even have, I just have a small Facebook account, but nothing more.
That's good enough.
But that, sometimes while I was, I'm very lucky actually in some matters, I had I worked with some excellent editors of the newspapers. Now, they used to give me, if you remember, half a page sometimes on art, or if there was somebody like Dada Saheb Athavale came, and I got the phone call that nothing to do with art, and I didn't even know about that. And I wrote this. Instead of, he said, I'll give 7 minutes. He gave me 3 hours, and I wrote half a page about him. So I realized that I have a skill about writing. Before that, I was already writing poetry, but you don't give it credit. You say you're like a sort of, it's poetry. And the second thing, most people tell you it doesn't sell. Well, you have to also think of everything together. So then eventually, when I was thinking, after writing for such a long time, it happens in 1989. I felt that my prose had poetry and my poetry had prose. And I also realized that I have a heart of an artist and the soul of a writer. So why not write?
Yeah.
So I resigned from everything that I was doing, and I just changed careers and I became a writer. So my first is The Walled City, which took about 5 years. But I thought it wouldn't work and I would have to go back to art. But it was amazing the way it went all over the world, and then
So I started in school writing essays that were not more than a paragraph. Also, I had very tiny handwriting, so I used to cover almost everything in that one paragraph. Then I started reading Mills and Boons. And I learned how you can articulate and express and, expand. So my next essay in school was 18 pages. And that's when I also realized that when you read and expand your vocabulary,
the more you read,
the more that happens. And obviously, we're not a reading culture as such. Though you have a lot of books published in India, yeah, and a lot of things that were available in our time, at least at the wheeler stalls at railway stations. And
very
you saw,
cheap.
Yeah, and you saw men always reading those kind of novel things in trains. And magazines have always been very popular. But actually, books was not so popular. But I think your style of writing appeals to this generation because it sees its childhood reflected in it.
Also, I have a style of writing where it appears I've been told that I'm talking to the reader.
Yes, yes.
So it helps.
Yeah.
The second thing that I want to tell you about my writing, as I told you about minority community, I belong to a Jewish community of India. And what happens that we, once during one of my exhibitions at Taj Art Gallery, this is what keeps on happening. Somebody enters and your life changes.
True.
So this man with spectacles, looking very rather intellectual, but quiet, entered, and he introduced himself to me, and he said, "I'm Nissim Ezekiel, the poet, and we are of the same community." So that was a turning point, actually.
Yeah.
So then he had a very soft, very simple way of talking, although his name as a poet is so fantastic.
Very big, yeah.
But it was so, nice and simple, and talking soft. You have to go very close
by.
and listen.
Yeah.
So he said that, in your work, I feel that you are linking some stories. Do you write? I said, yes, I do write little poetry. At that time, he had a poetry page in the Illustrated Weekly of India. So he said, do one thing. Send me a picture of that sculpture and this poem that you're talking about. And I sent it and he published it. So I can say that this could be the starting point. The second thing, after I wrote the manuscript of The Walled City, I knew his niece and I asked her, can you ask Nissim uncle whether he will read my manuscript? And he said yes. So I posted it to PEN office where he used to sit. And then she said, why don't you come in 2 months because he wants to meet you? And I went. He said, you have a very strong literary voice. So that's the starting.
Yeah. And then there was no stopping you.
No.
But what is the most interesting part about your work is that it's just not stories.
Yeah.
But it's a larger cultural context that you bring with it.
Yes. That's what I will like to go back to Nissim Ezekiel. He started discussing, how do you feel when you sculpt? How do you feel when you write? How do you feel? So then he said, do you know that is the Jewish, Ben Israel Jewish community that we belong to, we suffer from a very strong cross-cultural conflict. We are Jewish, we are Indian, we love India, we look Indian, we like everything Indian. On one side, we go to the synagogue, we say our prayers in Hebrew, we have to lead we are known as Jews. So we develop a slight inward growth. So it's a conflict. So that struck me That's very, and at that point, everywhere I went, my name, I had a big problem with my name. I mean, if everybody had a common like Asha, Lata, or whatever, so I had a name like Esther, and everybody has what E with an S or A with a what. So I always had a problem with my name, and then to be Jewish, I'm very Gujarati, very Guju in many ways, from food to this to that to everything, to fabrics to clothes, to everything. I like everything Gujarati. And I said, the conflict, and then suddenly you are supposed to, you're told that you're Jewish and this. So I thought that it's a conflict in me, only if I write. So the walled city. And the walled city also means breaking walls and
Stepping out.
stepping out and creating literature.
Nice.
Jewish literature.
Jewish literature,
For
exactly.
which,
That's what I was going to
with
say.
a group of women, it so happened that there was never Indian Jewish literature.
But even now, when I meet in communities and that young man who was in my office at one time,
Yeah.
everybody was confused when he
Yes.
said, I'm Jewish. Itle su, Christi? No, he said, not Christi. But the easiest way probably to explain to people is this family tree
Yes.
where everybody is a cousin,
Yes.
whether you're Muslim, Jewish, or Christian. Yeah, it's one big
The division
division. Yeah.
between communities,
Yeah.
which I don't like.
Hmm.
But somehow I felt that I had to break it, come out, find out. Till then, let me tell you, I'm not brought up religiously. I'm brought up more close to nature through the zoo,
Yeah.
or wild side.
Yeah.
So I did not know so much, but I said now I have to understand what it means. But that doesn't mean that makes me religious. But
Yeah.
there are so many aspects, difficulties, problems, everything. As we are what you call a mini microscopic community, so it makes it more difficult. So my stories, when I go to the synagogue, are built around, or when I meet Jews, or naturally being an only child also,
Yeah.
I'm extra observant.
Yeah.
I'm always observing, listening, and finding out.
No, I think it doesn't have to do with being a single child. It has
Yeah.
to do with your creative mind.
My creative mind.
Yeah,
But
because I
also,
find the
I
same
was very
thing.
shy.
I just
No,
posted
because
today.
I was very shy.
Yeah, but so was I. I in my I think senior KG, I got a prize for being good and quiet in the
Yeah,
class. I
yeah.
mean, nobody will believe that today.
Same with me.
So
Those who knew me long back, they can't recognize me.
yeah, so I think we evolve.
I mean, yeah, my creative side was very observant about everything.
And
And I think I was more thinking about women, their difficulties, their the positive, negative, everything together. So I thought it's best to put it in characters and narratives.
and when you are thinking about these stories, do pictures come to your mind?
Yes.
And then you
Yes.
kind of convert a picture
Yes.
into a story.
So if you see my books, which you have, and I'm very proud about that, is that I illustrate
Yeah.
all my
Yeah.
work. Each character is more or less drawn, designed, illustrated. I know the look. Also, I make sure that what I said, study means observe means. I have a small sketchbook in which I keep drawing, making notes, and that helps to create characters. The second thing, there are two places which maybe you will ask me, and I'll tell you about places. Something you had asked me.
I forgot what I'd asked you now. I'm lost. But
do I set them somewhere? Is there like a theater or like a,
where you kind of
yes.
put your mind out
Yes.
and receive back.
Because where I am means I cannot write unless I take it outside.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Right?
So you have to go out
Yes.
every day.
So I have to go out every day. That is one part.
Yeah.
The second thing is I set everything between two places.
One
is Ahmedabad, which is a city which has
Which is
because
part of
I
you.
have grown up in the old city, the whole old city sort of energy is something that makes me energetic.
Come
Once I
alive.
go there,
Yeah.
when I'm very down and out, I have to go there. Then it immediately revives me. So I know the old city, and for me, Ahmedabad is the old city, which is very much part of everything. And most of our this thing is around for me. I'm a little lost sometimes on the other
But I
side.
think you've written very well about also the Alibag area.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah.
coming to.
Yeah.
So I have two stages. Stage means theatre. Two theatres. One is Ahmedabad, one is Alibag. Alibag is the land, ancestral land where we landed as Jews 2,500 years back. So Alibag and Ahmedabad, both areas.
And I've always been struck by this iconic picture that is on the cover of Book of Esther,
Yes.
which
With the
is you
panther.
standing with that panther.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of describes you completely.
Yeah.
You know, the fearless woman who animals would also kind of bow down to.
Yes.
Which for me is very important because I feel also very close to nature. We've
Yes.
often discussed this,
Yes.
and you've asked me to write stories about
Yeah.
the birds and the bees and the
Yes.
animals that I see. So I think
Because you do observe and study nature so closely.
yeah. So that's the creative part.
That's the creative part.
Right? I'm also a non-practicing artist, you could say, in that sense. Though I also started with a career in art, but I didn't
Yeah.
pursue it, and I became an art historian because the stories spoke to me much more than the handwork.
Yeah. But I do remain in touch with art history and drawing, illustration. So that bonds makes it a totality, art and literature. Yeah.
What would your message be to the next generation?
I think to be
To
sensitive.
Kids who want to become artists, kids who want to become writers.
Listen to your heart, I would say. And once you hear your heart and do what you want to do and work very hard and keep on working.
So, you know, Amazon and such platforms now offer the opportunity for people who want to write a chance to publish. Do you think that's a great idea on its own? So
Well,
I've kind of read a couple of them, and I feel that editing is a very important part
Yes.
about the writing process.
This newspaper that I was being a columnist, sort of journalist for a long time, was very helpful. At that time, I didn't even have a laptop or a computer or anything. It was all done by hand. And it trained me to be an editor of my own. But now, let me tell you that I prefer, and I'm being very lucky that I've worked with some of the best publishers of India, and they all had editors. So I worked very closely with the editors. Already I edited, then they worked with me.
Yeah.
And the third thing that helped me was the cover designers.
Yeah.
And my background as an artist. So both of us, I could bond with three: the literature part, the narrative part, the book cover, and the illustrations.
Yes. So it's a full package.
Totality. So I mean, what you have asked me, it's about art and literature. It's a total
package.
A package. I mean, a whole.
Yeah.
Sort of the totality of my being.
So shall we end on that note?
Yes.
I think. I hope all of you also enjoy our chat. I see our technicians here also nodding their heads and smiling. So we've done a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
And till next time.
Thank you, Gauri.